Okay, welcome back to video 2 of our series here. We're going to talk about virtualization and a quick how to utilize, install, and run these machines here. So the first thing we want to talk about real quick is the types of hypervisors there are for virtualization. Type 1 and type 2. So we've got type 1 runs directly on the hardware. It's typically called bare metal. It's its own operating system. It doesn't load into Windows or Linux or other things like that. Examples of that would be VMware ESXi, KVM, RHEV, XN, or Hyper-V. Type 2, which we're going to be using on this course here, it can be run on Red Hat Enterprise Virtualization. VMware is for PC for both workstation and player. Microsoft Virtual PC, technically that's an older version. Um, can't really use it today in Windows 10. They may bring it back. There's talks of them bringing it back for other things, but until they do, for right now, we're only going to be able to use Workstation Player VirtualBox from VMware. Now, if you have Mac, you'll be talking about Fusion, Parallels, and Boot Camp. Now, we're not going to talk about Parallels or Boot Camp, but hopefully one day I'll be able to get around to Fusion, and we'll talk about that at a later video as well. But for right now, we're going to focus on Windows. Fusion is not that much different, so long as we get the basics, which this video will talk about today. Next thing we want to talk about is type 2 tips. So some BIOSes for laptops, desktops will need a change or a setup. Some won't. You'll need to enable virtualization. Now, a quick tip about this is you want to shut down the machine completely. Some manufacturers, when they do a restart, they do a quick restart, and it's not a full shutdown and restart. So always shut down so you can get into the BIOS. You're looking for an error message that will pop up saying VT is disabled in the BIOS, AMDV or VTX is disabled or not available. Again, we've got our VirtualBox message here in the center. Another one that you'll maybe see on some older models or different. I wanted to make sure you could see all three different types that you'll see, and VMware Workstation. If you can install all the virtualization software on any laptop, desktop, until you try and load a virtualized OS, which we will go over here shortly in the next video. Uh, you will get this message once this is not enabled in your BIOS. So we're going to go over that real quick. To do that, you'll need to learn or research your manufacturer. Now, I have a Dell Inspiron 5280, so I would need to Google or learn or use a search engine of your choice to learn the Dell 5280 Inspiron BIOS hotkey, or we'll call it an F key. Like it may be F12, it may be F8, it may be escape, it may be delete. Quick note again, if you have a Lenovo laptop, you have a special button called a quick BIOS. So you'll shut your machine down or shut down, do not restart, shut down, and there's a little small button. You'll need to use a little ballpoint pen. You'll poke that little button and it'll launch into the BIOS. Look for virtualization, enable virtualization, and retry the installation. So for right now, let's go ahead and get to it. Let's talk about where you can find the software if you do not have the Cavuto DreamSpark access yet. So for VirtualBox, some people like VirtualBox from Oracle. You'll go to virtualbox.org/wiki/downloads, and I'll put the link in the video description. Go for Windows hosts, and you'll get to download the software right there. I've already downloaded it, so we don't have to watch me download. Now, if you're looking for VMware Player, if you decide that VMware Player is for you, VMware Player is a smaller, shorter, abridged version of Workstation. So I always say get the best if you can't, but maybe your Workstation license is expired and you can't get Workstation. You have the option for VMware Oracle VirtualBox, or you have VMware Player. Okay, so you have two options. So there's no reason anybody should not be able to access this. If you have a Mac and you're looking for Mac software, it's going to be OS X. If you're looking for Linux distributions, it's going to be under that one. But OS X and Windows hosts, the two files are listed there, and you'll just download either for the appropriate system. Player, you'll find the player right there. Click on the link, starts to download. Again, I've already downloaded it, so we're not going to get it again. So player is listed at VMware.com, products, workstation, workstation player evaluation.html, or you can go to VMware.com, go to downloads, go to free products and trials, and you can get Workstation Pro. If you look for free products downloads, you can find Workstation Player. All right. The rest of the stuff you shouldn't concern yourself with. It may be useful to look at, but for the most part, the rest of the stuff is for managing type 1 hypervisors. Okay. So we're not going to concern ourselves with this. We're looking at type 2 hypervisors, which runs on Windows or Mac. It runs natively on an operating system. So again, VMware.com, free products or downloads, I should say, free product trial and demos. You get a year for Workstation Pro for free. And there's Fusion if you're looking for it for Mac. Free product downloads if you're looking for Workstation Player. Now, they don't have a free uh, lifetime version for Mac. That is its own thing. Or if you're looking for Workstation Player or Pro, you can get Workstation Pro from the same link, downloads, free product and trials, Workstation Pro, which will bring you to this page. And that's VMware.com, products, Workstation Pro evaluation. And you get this for a year. You just click on the download link, goes right into it, no registering, no hassle. All right, so after we come back with this, we have installed our software uh, and we have everything ready to go. We're going to talk about where to get your Windows ISO, which is the installer disk for Windows.